podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me from a pineapple under the sea, it's your co-host, Nick Richardson.
It's really kind of cool down here. I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of weird shit going down, Calvin.
And we're going to talk about that weird shit because this week we're talking TV fan theories.
Really interesting.
The world is just
subject.
full of.
Oh my god, so many. Because coincidentally, there's a lot of people out there that like to smoke weed and then take really long showers and
randomly pontificate about what
Right.
the hell is going on in their favorite fictional universes.
especially us one on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. I talked to my wife this before the episode, which I usually do. I ask her if she has any thoughts because I like to throw them in if she does. She doesn't listen, so she doesn't know whether I throw them in or not. But
You can say you did.
yeah, exactly. I asked her if she had any thoughts on TV fan theories, and her response was that people have too much time on their hands.
Damn.
To just come up with these things. And I agree with you, though. It's more like being under the influence or just like being alone in your mind, or when you've watched a show so many times. Like, I've come up with theories for The Office because I've seen it a million times. I've come up with a couple theories on Seinfeld because sometimes I sit there and because I've seen it so many times, my mind starts to wander about
Oh, definitely.
in-world situations that like were never supposed to be pondered, because when TV shows were made, especially in the 90s, you saw them once and that was it.
Yeah, you were lucky.
But
I remember trying to stay up till like 3 in the morning to get episodes of Trigun recorded.
yeah, Trigon, whatever the fuck that is.
You don't know? Oh my god, Calvin.
Tell me about it. I'm here.
Later. We'll talk about it.
All right. So Reddit is apparently a great source of this, because when people have these thoughts,
The best.
apparently the first thing they do is go to Reddit and type them down so other people can tell them that they're geniuses.
Not
Or
even
really,
the way,
really stupid.
Usually the way it works out is someone will like post a theory and then everyone just starts adding stuff to it
Yes.
or refuting things. Like I was
The real
reading some
theory
of-
is in the comments, is what they say.
Right. I mean, I was reading some where they proposed like a bit of math that just made zero, it made sense to me because I fucking blow at math. But a mathematician like literally wrote the entire equation out and was like, see, here's where you're wrong, fuckface. And I thought that was really cool,
God damn those mathematicians.
They're kind of, they just throw all these numbers and symbols at you. I don't know what's going on. It's almost like fighting dirty.
Yeah, it really is. We each have two theories each from different fictional worlds. And we're just gonna dig into them and see what we come up with of that. The theories here, I didn't create either of mine. I found them on the internet, mostly through watching YouTube videos or just Googling show name fan theories. And we're just gonna talk, what the theory is, where it comes from, what evidence there is to support or refute the theory. Just kind of talk about whether we believe in the theory or not, and then discuss if the creators or actors or anybody involved with the actual show has ever acknowledged the existence of these theories, or whether they're true or false or anything like that.
Which is great.
Yeah, I like it when the creators actually do give back. Like, that's a way that they can give back that's simple, is they talk to they respond to these things, because a lot of people put a lot of time and thought into these things, and it would suck for the creator to be like, it's just a dumb show for kids, man, don't worry about it.
There's been a lot of that out there, though.
Oh yeah, there
It's
definitely
unfortunate.
is. George R.R. Martin is famously against all kind of like outlandish fan theorizing and fan fiction, things like that. He's more of the I'm writing my story, and whatever's in the story is it. You can theorize all you want, but it doesn't really matter if I don't write it.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
Engage with your fans, have fun with them. I think both of my theories the creators have acknowledged in some way or another, and so that'll be really fun to talk about of how and why they do that.
Yes. Same for both for me, and I cannot wait. It's about to be
All
done.
right, so let's get into it. Nick, let's hear your first theory.
So my first theory comes from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
And
your
this,
neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would most likely be Squidward. I would fucking hate this eternally
You can play the
optimistic
clarinet.
dude. No, my wife played. Yeah, she did though.
There we go. Boom.
Boom.
So now your wife is Squidward. You're
Hey,
Mrs. Squidward.
Hey now. That's okay. It's 2020, bro. But anyway, this theory is the Krabby Patties, why they're so good.
It's the secret formula. Everyone knows
It's
that.
the secret formula. But what is in the secret formula? What's that secret ingredient that sets it off?
I know what it is. It's the Good Burger secret sauce.
It's PCP. And Good Burger secret
Just
sauce.
straight cocaine.
Yeah. SpongeBob has one for breakfast every day.
That's why he's so energetic.
A double. He's like, hit me with a double, Mr. Krabs.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
There you go. All right, so theory is SpongeBob is loaded on coke, and he grew up to be Johnny Depp's character in Blow. No, that is not the... I'm getting off kilter here. So, the secret ingredient and why Mr. Krabs is so protective of it is it's actually crab meat.
Dun, dun,
For
dun.
the burgers. Because how do you get beef under the sea? You tell me,
You
John.
don't. You don't.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess if somebody like kills their cow and throws it in the ocean for some reason, that would work.
Well, I mean, in that regard, it is a dumb cartoon. It's a fantastic cartoon, but yeah, that's
It varies
stitch.
between fantastic and dumb all at the same time.
Right, and I mean, Mr. Krabs, that would put him out of business. If people were like, "Dang, this cat's a cannibal." No thanks.
Exactly.
No, sir.
Is there any actual evidence to support this?
There's all the evidence in the world. The restaurant is shaped like a crab catcher. 1.
Is that what it's shaped like? I thought it was like a barrel. I guess that's what crab catchers kind of are.
Yeah,
All right.
or like a lobster catcher, something you would
Yeah.
dredge on the bottom of the ocean
Yeah,
to get
yeah, I gotcha.
hard-shelled creatures like him. So, follow me down this rabbit hole, folks.
I'm with you.
Someone mused that it had a terrible element to it, like PCP or crack. Just saying. And then another individual pointed out Krabby Patty is Dutch for a crab burger, but spelled with a K. So, often crab spelled with a K is used for imitation crab, which is white fish. So in reality, a majority of these other fish are actually cannibals, which explains even more why he wants to hide that shit. He's feeding them to... It's like Snowpiercer.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's... Snowpiercer's rough. I read another one out there that it's whale meat. So because it was something like whale meat is like can stay preserved for like really long periods of time, and there'd be so much whale meat, right? If there's a dead whale on the bottom of the ocean, and Mr. Krabs stumbled upon that whale, and he's just harvesting this meat for years and years, and he's freezing it or whatever. And that's where Pearl comes from too. We never meet Pearl's mom. She's a whale. Maybe this whale that he's harvesting the meat from was Pearl's mom, and he found baby Pearl there and raised her as his own, and maybe he's raising her for slaughter. I don't know.
He's not totally heartless. I mean, he's just like...
I mean, if it's worth a buck to him, if he runs out of mama whale meat, then maybe...
It's worth a buck to him.
But that's not what we're talking about here. And the only person he would really need to hide that from is Pearl, but I guess he would have to hide it from the rest of the world because he wouldn't want Pearl to find out.
That is true. Why can't it be both? It's a combo whitefish.
Combo crab.
Yeah.
Combo crab, whitefish, whale meat.
Right. It's like good meatballs, you know. There's pork in there, there's a little beef in there.
Well, that's why it's a secret formula and not a secret ingredient, because there's a formula for it.
There you go.
That's what Plankton's always trying to steal, is the formula, not the ingredient. So it could be all three. And I'm thinking that he took Pearl in not because he felt bad for her, but he said, if I wait 20 to 25 years, I'm going to have a new source of whale meat here. And then he eventually fell in love with her. Yeah.
Fell in love with her. That's not a little
Well, fell in love with her as a father-daughter relationship.
He's just keeping her fat and happy. It's like, here, eat this butter.
She went to prom with SpongeBob, so.
He hired his 47-year-old fry cook. who's on PCP to take his whale daughter. He sounds like he was trying to get SpongeBob to do the job for him. Just go ahead, take care of her, and let me get the meat.
So what do you think? Do you think this is, how plausible do you think this is?
I think it's totally plausible.
There's definitely something fishy about it, pun intended.
Dude, you got the best dad puns sometimes, but there's too much that is a coincidence to me. Why would he hire SpongeBob to be a fry cook? The dumbest, most ignorant, stupid person on the bottom of the ocean. Squidward, the most apathetic douchebag in the face.
He's just not gonna care. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm.
He hired Patrick at one point too, and that's even asking for more dumbness.
That didn't. He's a very manipulative. I mean, there's evidence he's fattening Pearl up between you and me. And the greed, man, the greed.
Well, so I read this one out there that it's crab meat, and another thing that was pointed out was we don't ever see any other crabs. We don't see a Mrs. Krabs. I think we see his mom at one point, but that's it. So in this whole community, there are no other crabs other than Mr. Krabs. And like it's right there in the name. It's called the Krabby Patty. Of course it uses crab meat. What do you expect to be in it? Well, if somebody gives me a hamburger patty, I'm not expecting chicken to be in it. If somebody gives me a chicken patty, I'm not expecting steak to be in it, right?
I mean, if you go by that logic, you would expect ham in your burger.
Well, no, hamburger is a separate meat than ham. Like, hamburger is a name of a meat.
I was just ground beef.
Well, I mean, it's called that also.
I digress.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, think about it. He would lose all his business. Look at Plankton. His restaurant's called the Chum Bucket. He's basically saying, I'm going to feed you
chum
guys.
In it, though.
Right. Which is fish. Which is just dead, chopped up, goopy fish. It's like, so I'm going to take your dying and you're sick, I'm going to process them, and then I'm going to feed them back to you.
With my computer wife, Karen.
Right, who I bicker with constantly.
Shouts out to computer Karen.
Karen is married to SpongeBob in real life.
I think I knew that.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
Small world.
That is a fun fact. I think another thing that points to this is Plankton has such a hard time because Mr. Krabs killed and harvested all the crabs. First of all, they're probably his family, so he can't replicate that. Yeah, he obviously can't replicate that to begin. Actually, no, sorry. I got to go back on this whole there's no other crabs around, because there's a specific episode that I just remembered where Mr. Krabs' extended family comes into town. It's like 100 fucking crabs there. All like asking for Krabby Patties. So like if it's all crab, wouldn't he be killing all those motherfuckers too?
That'd be too. He's got to pick them off, Calvin.
I guess you can't do it when they're all there. You got to wait.
You gotta pick them off. You gotta wait till they get old and get them. But when did this episode come out?
Early on. I mean, probably before 2003. I didn't watch many new episodes after that.
Oh man, I miss SpongeBob. The reason I asked.
I mean, it's still on all the time. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, is it really? I'm gonna have to get on there and watch that. But what I find to be, interesting is the creators did acknowledge this.
Ooh.
But the creator of it basically said.
Oh well, hold on. Before we get into the creator's thoughts, I had a point on Plankton that I didn't get to make.
Hit me.
Plankton has trouble getting his hands on these exotic meats because he's so small. He can't kill a fish. He can't kill a crab and take it back to his bucket to make it into a patty. He can't kill a whale.
To his bucket?
He's just got to wait until something dies, and then he can chop that shit up and take it back to the bucket.
Exactly.
Mr. Krabs has this advantage over him where he can go out and kind of claw some shit and bring it back with him.
Well,
he could claw another crab. He could claw a fish and bring it back with him and make it into a patty, where Plankton can't do any of that, and that's why Plankton's restaurant sucks, because he's just got to wait for the dead, rotten fish.
Grossness. So I think that would eliminate the harvesting of whale over the course of several weeks for Krabby Patties.
Well, yeah, plus if he'd have went to harvest the whale, but whales eat plankton. So if he'd have went to harvest that whale with little baby Pearl there, Pearl would have eaten him before he could harvest that whale meat.
There you go. Okay.
He wouldn't want anything to do with Pearl.
He says, back up, little one.
Yeah.
I'm
All right,
just
so
one
what did the
plankton.
creators say about this one? Sorry.
Well, the creator called bullshit, but Nickelodeon, for a time, put a recipe on their website that had crab meat in the recipe spelled with a K, which would make everyone else cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret ingredient. It's crab meat. Nickelodeon,
I like
you
it.
fucks.
I'm sticking with it.
And that's fucking dark.
Krabby Patties are made out of crab.
Which is just to emphasize imitation fish. Imitation crab is made of white fish, which I didn't know. I don't eat that shit.
Mr. Krabs, also a racist. Only kills the white fish.
Son of a bitch.
We're all the way down the rabbit hole now.
That's what we're here for.
All right, so my first theory comes from the world of SpongeBob SquarePants as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
And this one is a little more existential. And it's that SpongeBob and his friends are the result of nuclear testing in the area.
I love it.
I know. This one is one that I've seen circulating for a really long time, and I wanted to explore it deeper because I never really looked too deep into it. So where it comes from, the Bikini Atoll is a coral reef in the Marshall Islands consisting of 23 islands. And between 1946 and 1958, the U.S., fuckers that they are, happened to be testing their nuclear weapons on and around the Bikini Atoll, even detonating some nuclear weapons underwater.
When he says some, there's like 500. They set off a fuckload of bombs.
50. It was 50 total bombs, I think, is what I saw on the atoll.
50 nuclear bombs?
Yeah.
Fuck that. That is might as well be infinity.
And only one went
nuclear
underwater.
Bombs. Only one went underwater? That would be my natural place to put it, is let's put it in the fucking water. It's not blind, everyone.
If we want to get real dark about all this, the U.S. government displaced. There were people living on the Bikini Atoll. So before they started testing, they displaced hundreds or thousands of inhabitants of the islands, made them move to some other island group directly east, and then the people who didn't, they just got fucked, I guess.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Committing felonies out here.
I mean, we've already talked about the other island, the Chagos Islands, or Chagas Islands, which kind of had a similar history, except no nuclear testing. Of we want a military base here, so you guys get the fuck out, and we're gonna use it how we want. And if you don't, too bad. We're still gonna use it how we want. Seems like the same thing kind of happened with the Bikini Atoll.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually
except then they set off nuclear bombs.
Yeah, they made it even worse. So, like, yeah, be gone, and you can't come back here for the next 100,000 years.
Yeah, well, so and that's the problem is all the native inhabitants, they can't return. The people who were displaced, they can't ever return.
Like, you could come back, but you're gonna die in, like, maybe 2 seconds. Maybe 3, if you're resilient.
And I didn't take a lot of notes on that because it wasn't the main focus of this episode, but that was just some kind of things that I gleaned as I was reading about the Bikini Atoll in general. So some more evidence that points to this is the customs and dress of the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom reflects more closely to that of the late 40s, early 50s than that of the early 2000s when the show first aired.
Definitely.
Now, SpongeBob and his friends, the guy that created him, he created him originally in the late 80s, and then the show actually got picked, and they pitched the show in 96, and it actually got picked up and put on air in 99. But all of those things do not look like the 40s and 50s, which SpongeBob clearly does. You can tell with kind of the button downs and the high khakis everyone's wearing. They all send letters.
He's a fry cook, man.
Yeah.
Who's a fry cook anymore?
And he's like a popular fry cook. It's like one of the old soda shops that you see in Back to the Future or something.
Well, dude,
most people have seen him Back to the Future, not Nick.
He's a fry cook? Yeah, I haven't seen it. Just saying, give me your hate. I live off that shit. But anyway. He's got a house. I mean, like, he's doing well as a fry cook.
Well, so that's my other thing. All the buildings here on Bikini Bottom, and a pet snail that he keeps well fed. Yeah. All the buildings on Bikini Bottom could be kind of remnants from the island above. They were blown off the island and just kind of sank down all into this one place. And that's how you have, pineapples and tiki huts and a rock. And, the crab trap that is the Krabby Patty, the chum bucket, all that stuff is just remnants of what was blown off the islands.
Easily. I mean, 100%.
So I'm gonna take this one step further. Do you remember Rock Bottom in SpongeBob?
Rockbot, that is.
Yeah, those guys, those fuckers.
Dude, I
I
fucking
hate
love
that
that
episode
episode.
so much. Oh.
What? That is like one of my favorite episodes.
So when I was like 12 and the first time I saw it, it was really funny. But like, one of my kids stumbled upon it the other day, and I'm just like, you can't watch this episode. It's the most annoying thing in the world.
I haven't seen it in 15, probably 16 or 17 years.
Yeah, because they both have the Amazon Fire Kids tablets. So, and we have Amazon Prime, obviously. So, like, they'll stumble onto random episodes of SpongeBob all the time, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember that one, because it's mostly just the early seasons that are on there for free on Amazon Prime, which is all you want to watch anyways.
Right.
But yeah, so anyway, Rock Bottom is potentially a crater, which would explain why its inhabitants were even weirder and more mutated than the citizens of Bikini Bottom.
You know?
So that's where the bomb actually hit, created this crater. That's the direct hit. All the rest is just kind of the fallout. Bikini Bottom is.
Well, that would make sense because it's obviously darker. Rock bottom, you know that. I like it. I like
so
that.
It's a crater inside the ocean. And so, you know, the evidence here is basically saying instead of killing all the sea creatures, which nuclear explosions would 100%
Definitely,
do,
yeah, kill the shit out of them.
Don't go setting off nuclear reactions in your fish tank at home hoping to get sentient mutant fish. Don't do that. It's not going to work.
Well,
so instead of killing all the sea
that
creatures,
and let us know what happens.
No. Don't mess with nuclear reactions in your home, kids. Please don't.
If you're a kid listening to this, fuck off.
I mean, the first 25 minutes have been about SpongeBob, so you can't blame them for falling into this trap here.
We're going to get a letter, and this Karen's going to be like, you unchristian fuckers.
I mean, if you're letting your kid watch SpongeBob and you're worried about unchristian, then you better sit over his shoulder next time he's watching SpongeBob. It's not the most wholesome show.
Please explain.
I mean, it's just...
I agree.
Yeah,
it's a weird fucking show, dude. There's some very weird insinuations there. It was created in the goddamn 90s. I'm sure now.
A lot of interspecies sex going on there.
I mean, we just talked about a cannibal, you know.
Potential cannibalism.
Right. Either way you look.
Mutated fish monsters.
Yeah, nuclear bombs.
A puffer fish is the teacher? Come on now. That's
the
too
driving
much.
teacher, too.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Anyway, so these explosions, instead of killing all these sea creatures, it mutated them into what we see now and somehow froze them in time also. Not sure how that part works, but...
They're immortal. Nuclear reactions make you immortal. Check that out, too, while you're at the fish tank thing.
So, what do you think about this? You think it's plausible?
I think it's 100% plausible because, you just laid out some fantastic evidence. And I'm thinking back to Rock Bottom as well, and the reason he could not get out of there is because it was just so sheer, the wall to get up. That is exactly like a fucking bomb crater or like a nuclear bomb. That shit would be...
Yeah, because like the ocean floor is gradual, you know? It's not... I mean, I guess there's cliffs within the ocean floor, but...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely more mountainous
I've never
than
been
anything. But it just makes... too perfect. You know, I just think it's really a fun fucking theory. And even if it didn't, you know, just I'm sure it killed a shitload of the fish and displaced a ton of them. But when you think about it,
there's not that many fish left there either.
Well, I mean, that water's got to come rushing back at one point. So this could all just be, you know, the fish and creatures that survived and they all got stuck there basically because that's where it brought them back to. So, I mean, they're, you know...
Well, and then all those fish are boning and making more mutant fish.
Right, and even more and more mutant fish.
Mm-hmm.
You see these jacked-ass lobsters and shit? That's scary
stuff.
That guy
definitely has some nuclear mutations going on.
Yeah, I bet he does.
And the flat flounder guy, whatever his name is. Like Phil or something.
Or the sea bass.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate sea bass.
The other one that's really annoying is the one where they're selling chocolate and they just got the guy chasing him around yelling chocolate for the whole episode.
I don't remember that one.
My youngest daughter watches that one a lot. She stumbles onto that one all the time, and it's just that guy screaming chocolate is. Just look up SpongeBob chocolate. You'll figure it out.
SpongeBob chocolate.
So you don't have to make any huge leaps in logic to get to this point, right? Of okay, these sea creatures are obviously weird, and this one squirrel for whatever reason.
Why is a researcher there researching? Because
Right.
it's a nuclear hotbed.
As the least plausible aspect here that I can see is that the sea creatures mutated into more or less super beings rather than just being completely annihilated. But if you have to make a show about something, I'd rather see the show about mutated sea creatures than the show about a bunch of dead sea creatures.
I mean, yeah, that'd be very boring.
Yeah. It would not be going for like 15 seasons or whatever SpongeBob went for.
Well, I mean, imagine the hijinks we could get up to if we were nuclear irradiated. That would have been
I'd
amazing.
prefer not to be.
What?
But I mean, a lot of the Marvel superheroes were created in the same way. So
Live a little, Calvin. Come on now.
no. And just like if you're watching the show and you're considering this in the back of your head, which that happens with a lot of these fan theories, is you watch the show and you kind of have this thing in the back of your head of, oh yeah, this is what's going on, or this is what I like to think is going on. It doesn't detract from the show in any way, and it also doesn't really add anything to it. They're just at the end of the day, they're just these crazy characters getting into these hijinks. It doesn't matter how they got there. So that's why this theory is great, because it world builds without taking anything away from what you're actually seeing.
Right, it's just fun, regardless.
When watching the show, I'm much more concerned with how they can make and deliver a pizza in perfect condition underwater than whether or not they're nuclear waste X-Men.
I mean, that's a good point. Where do they get this beef? Where's the beef?
Well, the pizzas are crab meat too, but how does the cheese stay on? How does the box stay? Like, it looks like a cardboard box. How is that staying intact? If you ever put water on cardboard, it doesn't work.
Well, it works. I'll make it work.
So the creators have acknowledged this to an extent. In my research, it said it's been confirmed that Bikini Bottom is located beneath the Bikini Atoll, but there was nothing on the nuclear testing mutants bit. Like, he didn't say anything about that directly, but he did say Bikini Bottom is underneath Bikini Atoll. So you put 2 and 2 together, you have 4 there, is what I'm thinking.
Well, and at the same time, that dude that created SpongeBob was a marine biologist.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how he got going. He was a marine biologist, and he studied.
I got a little lazy on the research for this episode, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do my research Monday nights, and I was sitting there Monday night, and like I finished our movie or whatever we were watching. I'm like, I should really do some work on this, and then I was like, nope, gonna scroll through Twitter for the next hour and watch this bad Monday Night Football game.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's how we do.
Yeah. So sorry to all the fans out there that I didn't know the creator of SpongeBob was a marine biologist.
Yeah, and he actually worked on a cartoon.
But Nick knows it, so that's important.
A lot of people love before he got started on SpongeBob SquarePants. He was on Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh, I could see the remnants of Rocko's Modern Life here. You can definitely kind of see that in the DNA of this show.
It's wacky. It's wacky as shit.
We could probably do a whole episode on Rocko's Modern Life, too.
I would just love to do an episode on classic Nickelodeon shows, because they just don't make them like they used to.
I mean, we talked classic cartoons at one point. But I think it could... See, I would almost want to do, like, cartoons through the ages, right? You get your 60s with your Flintstones and your 60s, 70s, Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, Jetsons, those types of things. Then you move into your 80s with your Thundercats and your Transformers and your He-Mans. Then you get into the 90s, Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, SpongeBob. You kind of just go through the ages, you know?
I think
we can probably put something together.
We will do so.
Yeah, I think I have like half of a outline on that.
I'm fucking there for it. 100%.
So while I look at that and reformulate it, let's hear what you got for your next TV fan theory.
So this TV fan theory, this is the big one, because it doesn't just live within the TV verse. It goes across all mediums. So this theory is for the original TMNT cartoon.
Nice.
For those that don't know, Teenage Mutant.
I think I know where this is going.
Do you know where this is going?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out. So this theory, which I find super duper fascinating, is the turtles were created by the same chemicals, the same accident that created our beloved Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil. Well, you know
he didn't create Charlie Cox.
How do you know?
Well, because Charlie Cox is a human
Is he?
with real life.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well.
Anyway.
What? Tell us more about the theory, Nick.
Anyway,
We're
so
waiting
this
on
theory.
pins and needles here.
No. So this theory is, honestly, there's a shitload of evidence for it. So it's thought that basically after this huge spill of chemicals, probably a shipment of ooze, it fell into the sewer onto a bunch of sewer turtles and a rat. It was very plausible in New York. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Same ooze that gave him his enhanced senses probably has a different effect on reptilians. They have enhanced senses. Can't fucking talk today. Enhanced senses as well. That's why they make such great ninjas.
Just like Daredevil.
Just like Daredevil. That's one bit of evidence. I'm gonna rattle some shit off for you. Splinter. Stick.
Yep.
You like
Those
that?
are things that are kind of like the same thing.
Splinter is obviously the Ninja Turtles master, and Stick is the one who trained Daredevil. You get some splinters from Sticks sometimes. The really obvious one is the foot and the hand, the ninja organizations they fight against. Raphael has a goddamn red bandana and size. Elektra has red bandana and size. Happens in New York. They're ninja, like you said. And the list goes fucking on.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I think more characters should have been created by the Ooze.
Well, do you think that would make them? I mean, you got
maybe
Toka
the
and
spider
Razor.
that bit Spider-Man was in that Ooze too. I don't know.
Dang, it was being that spider was being hunted by the turtles, so they all got
they were hungry.
oozed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And Toka and Razor are just a happy accident.
Well, Toka and Razor were made on purpose by Shredder, so.
Dude, just saying, NECA made those action figures. They're fucking amazing.
I think you told me that. I never found them, though.
They were only available for pre-order for 1 week in July. And I caught me a set.
Nice.
Fucking love that. I mean, that list really, really, really goes on. You could go on forever. Not literally. Probably another 15 things. But I digress. There's also a runner-up I gotta mention. As I said, it goes across all mediums. In the comic books, in the first issue actually, Eastman and Laird connected the Turtles to the first issue of Daredevil from fucking 1963. Splinter's owner was killed by Oroku Saki, aka Shredder.
The Shred dude.
The Shred head. I fucking love that one. He witnessed a young Matt Murdock save an old blind man from being run over by a truck. So there you go.
Yeah. I'm with you. This is right on point, and this is the kind of theory that I like, because it takes two things that you would think don't actually have anything in common, and it brings them together, and it doesn't take these huge leaps in logic to get them together. It's just like this one accident happened in both places at the same time, and that's all you need to know. Nothing. There's no other crossover between the two things. It doesn't matter, because this ooze seeped into the sewer after Matt Murdock crashed into it.
And it just makes people ninjas for some reason.
Well, yeah. Why not?
And big. I mean, I want to know the extent. That's where I didn't necessarily agree with this one, is the Turtles are strong, enhanced. They have all... I guess. Why wouldn't it just turn Matt Murdock into a giant extra blind guy? A blind and deaf guy. You know?
I don't know. Well, because it went right into his eyes. It didn't go into his ears, apparently. Maybe he was wearing earmuffs. I don't know.
Kept his mouth
I haven't read
closed,
Daredevil #1.
I haven't either. It's probably terrible. Most of those comics back in the day are fucking shit.
Yeah, they're bad. I mean, I started Amazing Spider-Man at #1, and I enjoy it because I enjoy Spider-Man, but it's not super fun.
It's a tough read.
Yeah.
It's a tough read. But the best part about all this is it was confirmed by
the
creators. Confirmed! by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. They came out and said directly that Daredevil was a massive influence on them, and that they were both huge fans of Daredevil, which sounds like they just took a bunch of shit from Daredevil and, were like in their stank ass fucking baroque rooms with their pet turtle, and they're like, okay, I can work with this. Here we go. And now they're rich as fuck.
Yeah, congrats for that. I like that it's confirmed. Again, we talked about it with the SpongeBob stuff. I like it when creators engage and will say, like, yeah, that was my whole point. And
they were pretty
Ditko and Stan Lee obviously didn't create that connection. Eastman and Laird did. And it was just on them to be like, this is an easy connection to make. Like, that this stuff spilled onto Matt Murdock. It also spilled into the sewer. Yeah, it's the same thing. We like ninjas. Daredevil's a great ninja.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's this mystical ooze that can basically do anything. It made a man blind, but he does all this crazy, fantastic shit. What's that to the nth power? What's that on PCP? Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
I'm curious if the turtles got bathed. I should know this, but if they were covered, if Matt Murdock was completely covered in the ooze, would he have turned into a turtle?
Well, no, because they were already turtles.
That
case
turned closed.
Humanoid. So he would have just turned. I mean, he turned into a superhuman. They turned into superhuman turtles.
He just turns into the Blob. Oh, kill me!
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that could happen for sure. Sorry, I'm still writing this outline for cartoons now, so like I want to write it down while I'm thinking about it. I'm listening, I swear.
Yeah. Yeah. So Calvin, what's your theory?
My theory is that cartoons are cool and we should talk more about them.
I'm totally down to. Speaking of Daredevil, actually, I'm going to be playing Lego Daredevil in a production by this big dude on YouTube. It's going to be fucking dope. So I'll let y'all know.
Awesome.
Yeah. Maybe I can incorporate some turtles in that. We'll make this shit mainstream.
Or just like a podcast about something, say that however many times you need to.
I mean, it's already done. It's a done deal.
Boom. And You're All Alone podcast too, obviously.
I mean, that is my name, so I just spent the entire time like, hit me up on a podcast about something at APA something and on Twitter and all the addresses.
Nice. Well, that'll be fun. I'm excited for that.
I'm pretty excited myself. Sounds dope.
So my next theory, I'm done writing that outline now. So stay tuned sometime in the future for a podcast about classic cartoons.
I know you're dying for it already.
So my last theory comes from Arrested Development.
Nice.
And this is just rife with theories and ideas and leftover storylines that didn't hit, and so there was a lot to go through here. And the one I chose was that Tobias Funke is actually an albino black man.
What?
Or has some skin condition that makes him appear white, because albinoism has very specific traits, like they would have white hair and white eyebrows and things like that, and pink eyes. So just some skin condition that makes him a super light-skinned black man. There is a lot of evidence here. More than you could imagine.
Do tell, please.
I went through it season by season here. Season 1. Tobias's character cover for the season, he's dressed wearing a dashiki. Which, I mean, you could write that off as just Tobias is weird and he likes to appropriate other cultures and things like that. It gets deeper, don't worry.
He's an actor.
He's an analropist. So we also get the first glimpse of the cover of Tobias's book, The Man Inside Me, which shows a white silhouette within a black silhouette. And we're supposed to think that this cover is subtly hinting at his vague sexuality. But maybe it's hinting to something else, that the black man is inside the white man. or black interior, white exterior. Could be. I don't know. So let's move to season 2. Tobias and Lindsay are in their now open relationship, and Lindsay is going after Ice, the bounty hunter. And Tobias remarks, "I'm surprised she's going after somebody so similar to my type." And again, this could be just written off as another one of Tobias's non sequiturs about his vague sexuality, where he's saying that were he gay, which he very clearly may be, he would go after someone like Ice, but he's also, on another level, it's Lindsay is going after somebody who is so much like Tobias.
I'm still sitting here like running through every second of Arrested Development I can remember.
So you're gonna have to rewatch it and take all this into consideration. So later in season 2, Lindsay says people hear the name Tobias and think big black guy, and Tobias responds, "Well, obviously I'm not a big guy." Clearly leaving out the black part of that. So then later, again, Lucille tells Michael that she discovered a colored man in her apartment, and Michael asks what color, and she responds blue. But they're kind of laying that groundwork in your head. It was Tobias painted blue, but you can't ever put it past Arrested Development to slip in a double entendre there. I mean, that when she says colored man, yes, he was blue, but also she's referring to him as a colored person.
That totally makes sense, because she's a bitch.
Yep. I just think back to that scene, and I can remember it so vividly. If there was a colored man in my apartment when I got home, and Michael's like, "Wait, what color?"
Yeah. It's like, I'm sure you said this multiple times in your life, but you gotta specify here.
Yeah.
You rude old bag.
Because Tobias has been painting himself blue all the time lately. There's blue handprints everywhere. All right, so let's move to season 3, where now Lindsay makes a comment about not knowing how Maybe ended up with frizzy hair, because her hair is very frizzy, but all of the blues have very sleek hair, and frizzy hair is a common trait among black people. So that's there. Just going to leave it. Season 4.
I have pretty frizzy hair, too.
Well, there you go. Maybe you're an albino black person.
Have you ever thought
about that?
I had frizzy hair, because that shit leapt off the top of my head. Better believe it.
Sorry, Nick.
It's fucking booty.
So in season 4, the narrator remarks that Herbert Love, who is played by Terry Crews, in case anybody decided to skip season 4. So Lindsay is also pursuing a relationship with Herbert Love, played by Terry Crews, and the narrator remarks that Herbert Love reminded Lindsay so much of Tobias when they first started dating. So anybody who knows Terry Crews, big hulking black guy, and obviously Tobias is not a big guy. And then Tobias's middle name in season 4 is revealed to be Onyango, Onyango, which
Isn't that the same last name from The Good Place? Chidi?
No, his is Abiyango or something. There's an extra syllable in there. But it is a common name used by the Luo people in Kenya and Uganda, and famously Barack Obama's father's middle name is Onyango.
That's dope.
Yeah. And it's also most likely a play on Anyang from the early seasons.
Anyang.
Anyang. Hello. And then lastly, in season 5, Tobias says that he dyed his mustache pink because he thought that it was Michael's skin color, hinting that Michael's skin color is somehow different than Tobias's. So there's that. And then just overall, throughout the show, Lindsay seems to have a type for black men, with Ice the Bounty Hunter, Girl Michael, who Lindsay and Tobias both go after, who's actually a man, and Herbert Love. Those are 3 of the 4 people that Lindsay goes out of her way, or 3 of the 5 people that Lindsay goes out of her way to try and extend her open relationship with, and they're all kind of the same type that we're led to believe Tobias may be.
I gotta say, I love Terry Crews' name in this show.
Herbert Love.
It's the best. It's the best.
Terry Crews was really good in this role too. I kind of like season 4. It's disjointed and it's weird because of the way they filmed it, but I like the story, and
it's quirky.
The original run where they had all the different character focus episode is better than the remixed version. The remixed version is just super heavy on the narration, which the narration's great, but it's great when it's peppered in and not doing the heavy lifting of the episodes.
Right. How would you spell Tobias's last name? Funke?
Yes, that is how it's spelled.
Funky?
Funke.
Yeah, you could say Funke. You could also
But
say
yes,
Funky.
could be funky. Tobias could be funky. There's also
Maybe
a lot of
he's in
people
Funky
pointed
Town.
out the transition of Franklin the puppet from black to white when he accidentally gets washed, and that could be like foreshadowing Tobias as well. And then the last thing is, and I don't want to go too deep into this because I don't want to get in trouble, is it's suggested that Lindsay married Tobias to rebel against her father. And just like a lot of rich white dudes would disapprove of their daughters marrying black men. Right?
Dude,
Or at least that's a stereotype of rich white dudes.
Oh, 100%. 100%. My fucking grandfather went
If I was a rich white dude, I wouldn't
bananas.
care.
I don't give a shit. You know, whoever the fuck you love, it
Yes.
doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, you know, my grandfather was one of those people who was very. My aunt's husband is black, so
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah.
you know, that was a whole situation. So it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. So now that I've laid out all this evidence, what do you think about it?
Dude, I'm going to go watch Arrested Development as soon as we get off the mic. And that's probably what I'm going to do tomorrow, too, because this needs
I need a
an
rewatch
answer.
too.
That's
I haven't had
just
a
like
rewatch for Arrested in a while.
me either. I tried to turn my wife onto it, and she was not a fan. But
It's really hard because you got to watch like the full first 3 seasons. You pretty much have to binge them at this point and get them in like 4 weeks to really grasp it and to see all of those callbacks and call forwards and in jokes and like little things that you miss like this. So you've got to watch it all to get the full picture of it. It's very hard to get a new watcher on.
well, I think you got to be fans of those people as well. Like Jason Bateman, thought he was great. I loved Michael Cera. And
Jeffrey Tambor is great. I mean, he's got some issues apparently on set, but in this show he's really great. And I haven't seen many things with him that I don't like.
I mean, we haven't even mentioned Will Arnett.
Will Arnett is just amazing. I've watched so many bad Will Arnett shows because he's so good as Job. But he can't land anything else.
No.
It's been rough for him. He's got a
He
Netflix
is
show
Job.
called Flaked, and it's not good.
He had that one good episode in Parks and
Parks
Rec.
and Rec. He's good as Lego Batman. I'll give him that.
Maybe we'll, you know, do an episode on Lego superheroes.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I agree. I really like this theory. It's almost too good not to be the case. There's just so much evidence and potential foreshadowing. And with this being Arrested Development, they're not in the habit of just like providing evidence and false foreshadowing for things that don't exist. Like they usually pay it off.
It's the Russos, man. That's like their
Yeah.
shit.
Well, I mean, and even Ron Howard and Mitchell Hurwitz, like that's all of them together. Like that, it took all of them to make this perfect microcosm of this show. And, you know, the one thing I've always said about Arrested Development is that it's just dense with jokes. All of the things like that I listed above of that are evidence to this theory, if you take this theory away, all those things happening are pretty funny just at face value. But then when you rewatch and you pick up on things like this, it just compiles onto itself and it makes it even into this funny, super funny, ultra mega gag that only pays off for people who obsessively watch the show or
It's meta.
obsessively talk about the show.
Hilariously meta.
If we ever get a season 6, which I doubt we will, I think they would go to great lengths to actually confirm this because it's been out there for long enough now that even if it wasn't in their original plan, they would make it part of it now.
Right.
And it's just too funny not to pay off in some way. They just did such a great job of leaving out these breadcrumbs and setting the whole thing up. It would be a shame if it's not true.
Well, what if he had Sammy Sosa says he has some kind of disease.
Yeah, same thing with Michael Jackson.
Sammy Sosa is basically looks like a white dude now.
Right,
It's
yeah.
really creepy.
And it's like a pigment deterioration disease where like it just slowly goes away. I had
Yeah,
a friend
melanin
in
fades.
college who had it wasn't like the full on all of your pigment goes away, but he had like the blotches.
Mm.
I don't I don't know what it's called, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to it. Like that, it's just the best way to describe it, I think. So I think that's what they're hinting at is there's some type of skin condition there that makes him white.
Maybe the only place it hasn't affected is around his wiener,
And
that's
that's why
why
he's never nude.
nude. Dude,
Well, and some on the one of the Reddit posts that
Russo,
talked about
eat your
this,
fucking heart out.
huh?
I said Russo's eat your fucking heart out.
On the Reddit post where this was discussed, or on one of the many Reddit posts where this was discussed, somebody mentioned that they thought Lindsay hinted at him being quite well endowed at some point, which is another stereotype for black men. In case you've been living under a rock, like Patrick.
They got huge dicks, apparently.
Yeah. Big dicks. So Aaliyah Shawkat, that plays Maybe. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. I'm gonna go with Aaliyah Shawkat. She plays Maybe. She mostly confirmed this in an interview. She said she was asked a question, and her answer was that the writers have gone on little tangents where you think they're going to start a storyline, but then they pull it back. I remember they were going to do one about Tobias actually being a rare black person, where he would have had this rare disease and he was actually black. It's these hysterical, crazy ideas that they could have continued on. So like it looks like it was in the DNA at some point, and they just abandoned it for whatever reason.
I mean,
Or they just never finished paying it off because they didn't get a chance to because they were canceled.
that's probably my guess.
Yeah.
Avengers happened.
I also like the idea that well, so they do all of these fundraisers, right? And that's a big, especially the first 3 seasons, they do this annual fundraiser where they can never figure out what the actual cause that they're raising funds for. And you got the whole graft versus host thing where Tobias won't actually ask for it. All he has to do is get rid of his hair plugs and he'll be cured, but he won't do it. I feel like it's the same thing with if he has this disease, he just won't ever address it because he feels like it takes away from him in some way,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Tobias, not I wasn't trying to say that being black takes something away from him. Just admitting that he has a disease takes something away. Like he wouldn't admit that he was sick because of his hair plugs and just get rid of them. He had to take it a step further. He had to turn himself into like this helpless case,
Right, I could see him being like, well, you're not giving me. Never mind.
He could get more acting jobs as a white person. Is that what you're trying to say?
Basically.
I could see how Tobias would think that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, you're just gonna give me this part. I could see him being like, I don't want to be stereotyped as the buff black dude with the huge wiener. Just, based on the way Tobias fucking thinks of himself.
Yep.
Like you said, well, I'm not big.
Have you ever heard about that Funke? That Funke is really great.
Yeah, he's funky as fuck.
So then Mitch Hurwitz, one of the show's creators, he did a Reddit AMA one time, and he was asked this question. The question was, there are hints that Tobias is actually a black albino. Was that ever going to be a full storyline? And so the answer was that if I did want to do that, revealing that now would be ruining the joke. So perhaps you can think of another joke I can ruin for you that I can feel less bad about. So he's pretty much admitting it there. He doesn't want to ruin that because the joke is funny when it's in the background. It's not funny. This is more of an admission as anything I've ever heard before. And like, he's kind of right. If you go into this whole show knowing that Tobias is black, all these little references lose their humor. And it's more fun to just, see something that only that the characters don't know. And it's like this secret that you're in on, and none of the characters realize it, or the characters do realize it and just won't address it. Like that's funnier than being like, oh yeah, he's a black man. So all these jokes, all these things that they're saying are way more insensitive.
Yeah. It's just, I like the meta aspect.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's what Arrested Development does best.
Yeah, it's a very unique show.
It's so good, and it was so well thought out from the beginning. I didn't watch it on its original run. I got into it in like 2010 on like DVDs, because I read this one guy's website he was an obsessive Arrested Development fan, and he kept making references to Arrested Development, like in his blog posts that he would make. And I was unemployed, had nothing better to do, so I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it. And I'm glad I did. Because it was hilarious.
I love hilarity.
Yeah.
And it's just, the cast is great.
And it never gets old. I've probably watched it all the way through. I've watched the first 3 seasons probably 6 or 7 times. I've watched season 5 probably once, and I've watched season 4 twice, maybe 3 times. It never gets old because there's always a new joke to find. There's always something deeper within whatever they're talking about.
Definitely. It's super layered.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when season 4 first hit in 2013, I sat there, I think I was homesick or something. I sat there and binged the entire 13 episodes in one day, just because I had waited so long for them to finish this story. I was excited for it, and I just couldn't take my eyes off. I wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see how they would bring things back and put things together. And with how hard season 4 was, I think it still worked. Season 5 is a different story.
Yep.
Like season 5, you could tell everybody was like, nah, fuck this, we're done.
Give me the money.
Yeah. I'll do this because you're paying me a lot of money, but I'd rather be doing Ozark or Transparent or Veep.
Archer.
Who's an Archer?
The mom.
Oh, yeah.
She's Mallory Archer. That's how I knew her before I actually watched Arrested Development.
I've never seen Archer. I know it exists. I know what it is. I know it's funny.
Hilarious.
I just haven't gotten to it.
It's very good.
I'm on season 4 of Fargo right now, which I almost spoiled for myself because I'm looking, because Fargo was one of the ones I want to see if there were any fan theories on. So I Google it, and it's like, oh, you won't believe this fan theory from Fargo. I'm like, all right, let me check it out.
Like, nope.
And like the first 3 sentences are like, this character from season 4 goes back to season 1, and this. I'm like, nope, sorry, done.
Yeah.
Save that page for when I finish watching season 4.
The one old show that could be ruined for me. That's what I'm watching right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they just finished season 4 like 2 weeks ago, so.
Oh.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. Their seasons are really spread out. They got like 2 years in between each season because they're kind of connected but not really connected. So they're more anthology seasons.
True Detective
with small connections in between them that you can connect them if you want to, but you don't have to. Fargo's really good. You should watch Fargo.
I've heard. I probably
from me.
My dad is like obsessed with it.
That sounds about right. Seems like a good dad show.
I mean, we're all dads here, Calvin.
Exactly. That's why I like it.
There we go.
Do you have any honorable mention fan theories that we can cover next time? Because I love fan theories. We'll probably come back to this at some point. Did you have any that we didn't get into? Just like 2-second what the theory is. Don't go into any details.
I have one, and that's most of the characters in The Walking Dead are going deaf because of all the gunshots so close, in such close proximity, because that's their last resort.
Interesting. I've always wanted to look deeper into Toby as the Scranton Strangler in The Office.
Yes, I almost did that.
I had it on my list. It was the first one I had on my list, and then I was just like, no, that's been kind of done to death. Let's not start there. So maybe that's definitely one we'll have to do next time. And then here's one that I don't know that you've ever heard. This is an Office Parks and Rec crossover here. Creed founded the Reasonableists. Oh, there's evidence. I won't go too deep into it now.
I have a feeling I'm going to get a very long message from you.
I mean, just Google it.
I'll Google it because I'm very curious. I could see Creed doing something like that.
It's a pretty fun one.
I found so many fun ones.
Yeah. There's a lot out there. Like I said, we'll probably be revisiting this someday. So if you love TV fan theories, stay tuned for future episodes.
Fuck yeah.
Maybe we'll do like fictional novel fan theories. There's a lot of those out there.
There is a ton
Harry Potter,
of those out there.
Song of Ice and Fire. I'm sure there's some good Dune ones now that we're Dune heads.
I am actually looking at my action figure of Paul Atreides, aka Paul Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib. All right, let's not get too far back into Dune. We'll go another 3 hours here. We can't do that.
You can't do it.
Maybe when the movie comes out, though.
Oh, dude, I can't fucking.
All right. Thank you for listening. Check out us on Twitter at @lone_podcast, at APA something. We are always there for some cool chats. Buy some stuff. We made a sale on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com/APA something. There's some stuff out there. We made a sale last week. Shout out to that person that bought something.
Heck yeah.
I can look it up because she talked about it on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, so she did like a contest almost that she said, leave your merch stores below. I'm going to pick 2 randomly, and we were one of the ones that won. So that's Brypo, at Brypo on Twitter, bought some merch.
Shout out.
Shout out to you. Thank you for buying some merch. Other people who are listening, I know you haven't bought any merch because I get a notification when somebody buys something. So go buy something, anything. Could be a notebook, could be a mug, could be a shirt.
Get some stickers. They're really dope.
They got face masks on there. Face masks aren't going away anytime soon. Get in a podcast about something face mask.
You need a podcast about something face mask.
Yes. Let your something flag fly.
I love it.
Thank you, as always, to those cats for providing all the music for a podcast about something.
You guys stay sassy.
Stay classy.